Hello everyone, thanks for joining us on a beautiful but windy day here at the state capitol in Austin. I'm Jim Cardle for Texas Insider. We all recently witnessed the tragic shooting and death of two law enforcement officials down in the country of Mexico, and we're expecting here in Austin soon for a already Senate-passed voter ID bill to be addressed in the House. Certainly the issue of border security and immigration is on many Texans' minds. We were able to catch up earlier with our own Texas Congressman Michael McCaul of Austin. McCaul in the U.S. House of Representatives serves on the House Homeland Security Committee and in fact is chairman of its Oversight and Investigations Committee, where he told us he plans to hold hearings in mid-March. We were able to catch up with McCaul earlier today to ask him about his efforts. Okay, Congressman, you've just come out of the Senate Homeland Security Committee and mentioned a couple things, specifics that Texas can be doing with you folks in Congress. What'd you tell the committee?
That we got the majority back, so in the House, and I think it's a new day. There's a new opportunity for the federal government to do something about the border and to work with state and locals, and we should be in partnership with them, not fighting with them. And too often there are these turf battles and the federal government doesn't work well with state and locals. That day needs to change, but I think the resources are the big issue. We need to have better technology on the border. That's the piece that's really been missing. Sensor surveillance technology, been down there with the DOD. There's great Defense Department technology we're using in Afghanistan that we could deploy to the southwest border. UAVs, we've only been given one UAV. Arizona, the home state of Jan Napolitano, has 3. We have 1,200 miles of U.S.-Mexico border, more than any other state, and yet our state, I think, has gone largely ignored. I want to put a spotlight on that fact in the Congress as chairman of Oversight and Investigations on Homeland, that Texas has been ignored and we need more resources.
Well, you mentioned in the hearing that you're going to be holding hearings up in Washington, more in the investigative effort, because it's problematic to get things passed legislatively, but what are your plans in March? You're going to hold hearings. I
think we're going to get things passed in the House, and it should be a bipartisan issue, border security, that we should be able to get through the Senate. But the first hearing will be on the role of the United States in the Mexican war against the drug cartels. And we're going to talk about the 2 ICE agents, one who was killed and the other one shot. 83 spent shell casings. It was an ambush. And they knew that these guys were U.S. law enforcement, and they violated their own rules. They changed the rules of the game and decided to go after them intentionally. They're targeting our guys now. That's a direct attack against the interests of the United States, and I think the United States needs to respond accordingly.
And you know some of the details on that ambush. Were they stopped, approached, and unarmed?
They were classic cartel style. One vehicle gets in front, one gets in the back. They force them to stop. 10 to 15 assailants got out of the vehicles, came up to the agents. They said, "We're American diplomats." The response was AK-47. "We don't care who you are." Boom, 83 rounds went off.
So you mentioned to the Senate committee that we're starting to see more Al-Qaeda or a new level of terrorism down on the border. What can you tell us that you're seeing down there that Texans may not readily know that we should be concerned about?
Well, we know Al-Qaeda they know they can exploit it. The Hezbollah influence is particularly more significant down there in Mexico and Latin America.
With beheadings and the like?
Well, the drug cartels, they say traditionally have stayed away from the terrorists, but they are operating like terrorists down there now. They're cutting heads off. They're burning people alive. If there's money to be made by smuggling, like the imam I talked about, who was found in the trunk of a car, $5,000 to get across the border, it's all about making money to them.
So should we be concerned about international terrorists on our border?
Somalis through the Al-Shabaab, the Yemenis, Laki, the traditional threat from Pakistan. It's all over. And what we don't want to see south of the border is a failed state where the terrorists can exploit that failed state.
Also during his testimony, McCaul mentioned the need for boots on the ground, as well as implementing new technologies that are now available to help secure the border. He also talked about working more closely state and local officials with the federal government. So for Texas Insider, I'm Jim Cardle. Thanks for joining us.